Oh wait, now it is.
Now it is?
Mhm.
Okay. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Shut up.
Not even.
So,
But-
I have to make these
You're also barely in it. It's just like facing this way.
right
Okay,
here.
yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll try to stand over here for now, and then I'll move it around as I have to.
You talk.
So yesterday, when you weren't here, I had to film for class, and it did not go as well as I wanted it to.
I was here yesterday. I just wasn't in class.
Lydia didn't see that it went yesterday, and I'm glad of that. It was pretty awful, pretty cringy. I get weird when the camera is on, so I'm gonna try to do it more frequently so I forget about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and run my class like normal, and the camera's gonna get whatever it gets, and the people who evaluate me will evaluate me, and the world will keep turning, and everything is gonna be okay. So hello and welcome, happy Wednesday. It is sunny and gorgeous outside, and I know that many of us would rather be fishing, but here we are. So let's get our work done and get on with our day, okay? So first things first, I have a connector question. And I want you all to think about this while I'm putting attendance in, because I'm gonna come around and ask you, what's a good analogy for how you get ready for school in the morning? And I'm gonna give you an example. I myself am like a very old computer that takes a long time to turn on and boot up and get going. When I get up in the morning, my alarm goes off, and I don't like hit the ground running and like immediately go do a whole bunch of chores and stuff. Like I'm waking up slowly. I have to make the coffee, and then I have to drink the coffee, and then I do all my washing up and showering up and getting ready and my makeup and everything. I have to yell at the kids every so often throughout the morning, but it's like a long, slow process. I can't be like, I know Mrs. Spears gets up like 20 minutes before she has to leave the house or something. I need 2 hours before I have to leave the house. Easily 2 hours. I have to eat breakfast, I have to talk to people, I have to check my Facebook, I have to do all the things. But everything's slow and methodical. Then by the time I get here, I'm like awake and alert and online and ready to go. I want you all to think about what it's like when you're getting ready for school in the morning. Like, are you like a grumpy old bear who has to be woken up out of your hibernation? Or are you like a spider monkey who's like running around and crazy in the morning? What are you like in the morning? What's it like when you're getting ready for school? Think about that. I'm gonna put attendance in real quick while you guys think about that.
Can I make a folder on my locker?
Yes,
Oh.
you can certainly do that. Who said no? Oh, while I'm thinking of it, you all, our field trip is changed to May 20th. Yep, May 20th. So May 20th, we're gonna go to Crosswinds Marsh Park, and we are going to enjoy a delicious picnic lunch, and we are going to fish and sun and recreate and look at plants and animals and go for walks and enjoy nature.
If you're over 17, you better buy a fishing license.
Yes, you learned that the hard way. We gotta make that happen.
$250.
So how much is a day's license? Like not for the whole season, but just one day?
$10.
$10.
It's paid twice the amount you get for a year.
That seems like the better deal, doesn't it? Then you can fish hassle-free all summer long. All right, is this Madison coming back?
I would go on that. Mine's in a lot.
All right, can I ask you all to please put your phones away? I promise, pinky promise, that you can have them back at the end of the hour for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you can check your socials and see what has happened in the last 40 minutes.
You guys wanna know what Kanye said?
No. We're on camera. Some nice person is gonna be watching this. If you're talking about Kanye, it's probably gonna be bad.
I won't. Now that I think about it, it is really bad.
Yeah. I know enough to interrupt that. All right, so here's what we're working on for today. We're gonna talk about this analogy here, what you're like getting ready in the morning. We're gonna be working towards this same objective as yesterday. I was thinking a lot about how yesterday's lesson went, and I didn't like it, mostly because I was cringy and weird, so I made the lesson cringy and weird, and so it wasn't as good as it should have been, and that's not the way I do business, so we're gonna go back and do it better. Here's our little schedule. put it over here for us, like I always do. So we're gonna do our connector question, then I've got a packet number, whatever. Then we're gonna do a BFA, big, fat analogy. And then we're gonna do a drawing of your analogy. So let's talk about what you're like in the morning. What is it like when you're getting ready for school in the morning? You've
I'll
got a
wake
funny
up.
idea.
I wake up, immediately get in the shower, and then, right when I get out of the shower, I brush my teeth, and then I go into my room, and then I get dressed, and then I wait till like 7:30, 5, then I go downstairs, and then I go to the bus.
So you've got your routine. Is it the same exact routine every morning?
Every time.
All right, so what is an analogy for that? And it's the same every single day?
Insanity.
Like an assembly line or like a factory or something where it does things the same every day? I like that. Anybody else have an analogy for what it's like when you get ready in the morning? Do you want to hear what my daughter Valerie's mornings were like when she was growing up, when she was about your age? Oh, she had a hard time in the mornings. She could not, like, her alarm would go off and she'd hit it, and then it'd go off again and she'd hit it. At one point, we had 3 different alarm clocks in her room. One was way across the room, so she had to get out of bed to go turn it off. She would go turn them off or sleep through them every time. We even took her to the doctor about it because it was so hard to get her up in the morning, like, what's going on? So the doctor suggested that we bring her a little bit of juice in the morning to try to, like, give her blood sugar a little boost, make it a little bit easier to get out of bed, and that helped a lot. So I would sneak in there when her first alarm went off and bring her some juice and a little bendy straw. And while she's still in bed, like, she had to drink the juice while she was still in bed, and then I'd go back in 20 minutes later and it was a lot easier to wake
He's
her
in
up.
bed is crazy. I love that. I wish.
Right, it was tough. It was tough to make that happen because I told you what my morning is like. So I had to, like, put that step in there. That was hard. But it was easier than yelling at her, which was the other thing. Get out of bed.
I just like, I'd set an alarm in somewhere where it would go off and she'd have to get up to find it.
She just said that they did that at 6.
Oh.
Yeah, we put one across the room, and she'd either ignore it or get up and turn it off and go right back to bed.
How can you ignore it?
If you're sleeping hard,
You just don't care.
yeah.
I will-
Your bed feels better than that noise is annoying, I guess.
Bro, Jesse does that. Sitting at his house, it was literally blaring for like 4 hours straight. And not wake up.
You
Literally,
spent the
and
night at his house that did that?
it was so loud, it like, you can hear it throughout the whole house.
Don't you hate when you spend the night at a friend's house and you wake up earlier than they do? You're just like sitting there like, do I go hang out with their family? Or
Oh, his mom
You
goes
sit
to
right-
work at 4 in the morning, so it's
so you're
like,
just playing video games waiting for your friend to wake up?
yeah, basically.
Your nocturnal friend? Alright, so you guys are getting an idea of what an analogy is, right? You know, it's like a model for something else, like an equivalent scenario. So we're gonna be talking about that again. I've got a better packet for you today. Yesterday's reading was okay. I liked it okay, but as I was talking about it with different students throughout the day, I realized that there was kind of a hole in people's understanding about what the brain does, like all that it does. It's a really complex organ. And so it's worth talking about a little bit more so that we can understand more about how the brain is organized, how the nervous system is organized. Now tell me why I made that distinction. Why did I say brain and then I said nervous system?
Because they're different. Or they're connected, but they're not the same thing.
Tell me more.
And they both are like your main points of feeling and sensory.
So that is so cool that you used those terms like feeling and sensation, because those are important parts of what we're going to talk about today. I don't think everybody knows that. So I want to read our packet together, make sure that everybody has a good understanding of what's going on. And then we're going to try to come up with an analogy for what our nervous system is like so that we can better understand it. because there's a lot of technical jargon here, right? There are a lot of vocab, there are a lot of names of different parts of the brain, and a lot of different jobs that different parts of the brain do. And because this isn't an anatomy and phys class, we don't need to go that deep. But these are important things and you deserve to know them just for your own self. So we're gonna go over these together and make sure that you all understand them really well, then do that analogy, and then that'll build into what we're doing next, later on this week and next week too, okay? All right, we ready to go? Does everybody have something to write with so you can make notes on your text? Who needs something to write with? Need a pen?
I do too.
You need a pen?
Why do you write so
Good
tiny?
catch. Anybody
Sometimes
else?
they're
Anybody
really
need a
big,
highlighter?
Really tiny, really neat, really fluffy. No offense.
Highlighter,
Depends
anybody?
which personality.
Jason, need
Yeah.
anything? You got everything you need? Look at you with your good supplies. So Sharon, Jasmine, and Amir look like they've been having a day. I know it has been, whew,
Yeah. I went to
very
bed at 1 in the
demanding
morning.
couple of weeks around here, right?
I went to bed at 1 in the morning.
Why?
But I'm here. I'm still up.
Yes, and I admire you for it. I just wish that you had had more and better sleep.
But I got up at like 7. Okay. That's 6
6
hours.
hours?
Of sleep.
Is that enough for you?
Yeah, usually like 3 or 4 is enough. Sometimes.
So you should be getting, how many hours do you think a night, based on your age? Have you ever looked that up? How old are you?
17.
Yeah, so he's right, 8.
But
What's that?
I know it's like 8 for everybody usually.
Oh no, younger kids need even more sleep. So like freshmen, who are you talking to on that phone? You talking to Princess?
Yeah.
Princess! Jason can't be on the phone in class. He knows that.
Bro,
Tell me who's-
who's.
I will quiz you later about the T in the Lord. Anyways, moving on. Younger kids are supposed to get more sleep. So like if you're a freshman, you're supposed to be getting like a good 10, 11 hours of sleep.
Oh, I'm a sophomore, so it's alright.
You said you're, yeah, so 17, so like 8 is good for you. Hmm?
Sometimes I
I'm
go
a
to
very
bed till, like,
productive.
3, and then I always wake up at 6 or 7.
That's not good for you. It'll make you cranky. I don't know if you've ever noticed that sometimes you're cranky. I wonder if it's those days that you haven't had very much sleep.
Those are the days I don't wake and bake.
I don't want, you know what, just. Am I anywhere, like, am I in it, or?
Yeah, it's showing you a little bit.
Okay, that's fine, here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Here we
Oh
go.
wait, we were recording on this video.
I gave you fair warning. Let's read about the central nervous system. Would you like to make up for it by reading aloud?
No.
Will you follow along while I read?
Yeah.
If anybody wants to read out loud, because it's like easier for you to pay attention, or I'm just getting on your nerves or whatever, just holla, and I will give you so much extra credit for reading out loud. I would love that. I'll just do that. Right. The human brain. The human brain. How dramatically can you say it? The human brain. It's the control center. But what does it control? Practically everything. From breathing and heart rate to reasoning, memory, and language. It's the main part of the central nervous system. The central nervous system is what we're going to be talking about mostly today, okay? And then tomorrow we're going to talk about the peripheral nervous system. So concentrating on the central nervous system today. The nervous system has 2 main divisions, the central and the peripheral nervous system. So that word peripheral, let's talk about that. What does peripheral mean?
Doesn't it mean like an area, like that you know, or that you can identify,
Nice, keep talking. Good start.
or what you can see? Is, like,
So you're
peripheral
thinking
vision.
of peripheral vision.
Yeah.
So where is your peripheral vision? On the edges, right? And that's what periphery means. It's like on the outside edges. So very nice. I like that. Good connection.
I got some wide eyes because I can see all the way to like over here.
So isn't that how they test your vision? Is that right? Like how far until whatever's on the sides of you disappears?
Like right here.
You see this?
Anyone
So
tried
you could be a
sneaking?
pilot.
Anyone tried sneaking me? I just be like,
Do that again. How would you be? What if it was a short person? How would you be? Would you be able to tell from your peripheral vision? What if it was an old lady holding a baby? What would you do? Right. Why did I ask?
I'm just kidding.
I don't think you would do that.
Not with.
All right, so the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system are the two main divisions, okay? We've got this cool little diagram here. Everybody see your little diagram that helps you understand? The central nervous system includes the brain and the spinal cord. That's worth highlighting, don't you think, and making a little note there? So the CNS, central nervous system, is the brain plus the spinal cord. Anybody here ever see The Terminator? That movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he's a robot and like they burn all the everything
I
off
haven't
of
seen
him
it, but I
and it's
know.
just like the brain and the spinal cord.
Yeah.
Awesome. I can hear somebody's headphones, and I've asked everybody to put your electronics away, so everybody make sure that your headphones are away and off, please, and thank you. All right, so here in our diagram, we've got the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system right below it there. The peripheral system is further subdivided. So it's organized into smaller pieces. We're going to talk about that. You can read all those headings there. So in the peripheral nervous system, we've got the motor division, and that's made up of motor fibers. So that's like movement, motor meaning moving. And then that's broken down into the autonomic nervous system and the somatic nervous system. And then there's the sympathetic division and the parasympathetic division. And then there's the sensory division. So each little part of your nervous system has a name depending on what it does and where it is in your body. Okay? Page 2. Can you open your packet to the next page? Get your packet on the right page. Yes. So are you recognizing this drawing
Yeah, that's
as
me.
kind of similar to what we looked at yesterday? Are you recognizing some pieces? Like, what would, here, I'll highlight it in yellow.
That's what my brain looks like.
Is that what your brain looks like?
You
When
need
you
more
take it
brain.
out and hang it up at night, is that what it looks like? What's the yellow part? See how I highlighted it? What's that yellow part? Anybody remember?
That's the,
Good job, say it louder. She beat you.
that's my number one op now.
Number 1 op now. All right, so that's the brainstem. Good job.
It's on site.
And then we also have the cerebrum and the cerebellum that you can identify from yesterday too. Very nice. And then the spinal cord is very long. The stem is the top part of that spinal cord. Just to put it in context from yesterday. All right, so that's a nice, easy to understand diagram, right? We can handle that.
Yeah.
And that's about the right level for what this class is. We're not going so deep into the anatomy and phys, but we deserve to know more than that article told us about yesterday. All right, so let's read a little bit more about the brain. The brain is the most complex organ of the human body and the control center of the nervous system. So control center, I'm gonna highlight that. The brain is the control center of the nervous system. It contains an astonishing, prepare to be astonished, 100 billion neurons. The brain controls such mental processes as reasoning, just like figuring things out, imagination, memory, and language. Those are all really complicated things that you do with your brain, right? Like, have you ever tried to come up with a story or an idea for art class? It's crazy that the same brain that can remember algebra can do that too. That's pretty complicated. I think it's pretty cool. It also interprets information from the senses. So you know your 5 senses, what you can see, what you can smell, what you can taste, what you can touch, what you can hear. Then I also think of like a sixth sense as like emotions. That would be a different sensation, but I think it's kind of connected. We'll talk about that more another day.
I believe.
In addition, it controls basic physical processes such as breathing and heartbeat. All right, yay brain. So the brain has three major parts. We read about those yesterday. The cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. And here is a good on page 3 of our placket. Here's a nice little diagram. I wanted you to have lots of diagrams in this packet so you can get more used to these views and seeing what's what. Here's our brainstem again. Here, I'm going to make it blue in this picture. Important to know where that is. The cerebellum is this one at the back. Here, I'll make it yellow. And of course, you all are free to mark on your paper in any way that is useful to you. I made the cerebellum yellow, so you can see. Do you all ever, so I find it like when I'm learning new stuff, I like it makes me feel confident when there's some parts of it that I already know. Then I don't feel like so like, oh my God, I'm not doing it right. You know, I feel like I like it when there are parts that I'm sure of. So I put a red outline around the cerebrum. Okay, so those are the three main parts of the brain. And this should be review from yesterday when you were here but not here. So this is the left side of the head that we're looking at, and if you could like peek inside somebody's skull, this is what it would look like. The cerebrum is the largest part of the brain. I'm going to use that same color to underline this. And I've got colored pencils right there if you guys want them. It controls conscious functions like reasoning, that means thinking, language, that's important, sight, touch, and hearing. It's divided into two halves, and we call those halves hemispheres. There's a $10 word. What does hemi mean?
Hemispheres?
What's that?
Half.
Yes, you knew that already, right?
And sphere means circular.
You know why?
So hemi means half. What do you say, Madison?
Half circle.
A line. Let me know if you figured out more. And a sphere is a ball shape or a globe shape, a round, three-dimensionally round thing. So when we're talking about a hemisphere, we're talking about half of a sphere. So that largest part of the brain, the cerebrum, is divided into two hemispheres. They're similar, but they're not identical to each other. This is very important. The language center of your brain is on the left-hand side of your skull. In America, where do drivers in cars sit?
On the right side of the road.
Where does the driver in the car sit?
Oh, sorry, left side.
The left side. So, if you get in a car accident and there's part of the car next to your head right here, and you bonk your head right in the language center, you can cause brain damage in the part of your brain that controls your ability to understand and process language.
Oh. So you like start speaking Spanish?
No, it's not like that. It's not like it gets scrambled and some different language comes out. It could be the case that you don't understand what people are saying to you. Like you can see that it's a person who is saying things to you, but it's just like blah blah, you don't understand any of it, and you cannot learn it either because that area is damaged. Or it could be that you understand people, but you can't get the language out. You can't speak.
Non-verbal.
Right. And sometimes you can't even write. So then you're stuck without being able to express yourself in any way. It's really tough. In other countries where the driver sits in the right-hand side of the car, they would bonk the opposite side of their brain. And so they don't have near the number of patients who have problems with their language center just because of how the car is constructed and where the driver sits. Isn't that weird?
What if
Think
they did
about
the
that?
other way though? Where the driver sat on the right side.
Right, so that's what I'm saying, like if you go to the United Kingdom, where the driver does sit on the right-hand side of the car, and how weird would that be, by the way? Think about that.
And they drive on the left.
Right, correct, I should say. So then if they get in a car accident and they bonk their head here on the side of the car that's closest to them, it's not their language center, it's something else.
Which is?
Good question, we'll have to learn. Let's keep that in mind. Alrighty. So the hemispheres are similar but not identical. They're connected by this thick bundle of axons. You can think of them like extension cords, like that are plugged into each other, really deep down in the brain. And then each hemisphere is divided into lobes as well, like different sections, different parts. Okay, the cerebellum, I'm using my coordinating color. The cerebellum is just below the cerebrum. It coordinates body movements. Why do you think? I'm going to hold that question and ask it again a little bit later. So it coordinates body movements, and there are many nerve pathways that link the cerebellum with motor neurons throughout the body. So like if you want to control your arms and legs, it's that part of your brain that's way deep down under there that gives you control over your body. The brain stem, here we go, is the lowest part of the brain. It connects the rest of the brain with the spinal cord and passes the nerve impulses between the brain and the spinal cord. So it also controls all those unconscious, involuntary functions like heart rate and breathing. So like, in order to be alive, what do you have to have going on?
Breathe.
You have to breathe, and what were you saying, honey? You have to have some brain functions that allow you to breathe, and do what else?
Eat.
Yep, so you have to be able to digest your food and get nutrients out of it. Now, do you think about that when you do it?
No.
No, your body just does it, right? So that part of your brain that controls those functions that are necessary to be alive are in the part of your brain that is most highly protected, right? It's way down deep in there.
That's good. So I accidentally hurt it and then come to school like.
Here we go. If you accidentally hurt the language center in your brain, you're not going to die, right? But if your brainstem were right here and you bumped your head real hard, you could die, right? So it's better for it to be in a place where it's more protected because it has those functions. It controls those functions that are necessary to be alive. So it makes sense for it to be there and to be protected. All right. Ooh, we are cruising through this jacket, y'all. Page next. All right, so now I told you that they're divided into lobes. Here are some lobes. What is a lobe? What does that word mean, lobe?
Like a part.
Mm-hmm. What's a lobe shaped like?
Like a bulb.
Yeah, it's kind of roundy and
Bulbous.
bulbous.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit irregular, right? It's like not perfectly circular or perfectly anything. It's kind of odd shaped, maybe. All right. So we've got the frontal lobe, and that's where you do your reasoning, and you're thinking about what would happen if I did this thing that I know I should not be doing. What would happen if, just say for example, I'm not saying this about anybody in this room, but what would happen if I vaped in the bathroom?
Whoa.
I'm just joking.
What would the outcome
I'm trying
be?
to stop the vaping crisis.
Mr. Drew would yell at
The
you,
day hardware
so you're a
vaping.
very bad boy, and search your pockets.
So you have a frontal lobe that is functioning because you are able to reason that through and think to yourself, what would happen if? And then you have an answer for that, and then you can talk to yourself about whatever you want your decision to be. Just like when you bought your fishing
You're
license.
conscious.
Because you could either have blown that dude off, like you could have blown him off and said, forget you and your $250 ticket, kiss my butt, you're never gonna see me again, you're never gonna catch me again, how do you even know who I am? But you thought it through and you thought,
Or you could have been
for the
like,
price of
"Officer, what's
$20,
that?"
I don't have to worry about this ever again, and I don't have to be hassled ever again, and whenever anybody comes up to see me, I'll have it, and I don't have to hide from anybody. your frontal lobe is working. Good job.
Is my frontal lobe working?
Yeah, you don't want that.
That's how they are.
Your frontal
Yeah, they
lobe
get
working?
like a dog in a bone, right?
No.
All right. So that's what you want. And this is the part of your brain that is developing until you're 25, 26 years old. That's why credit card companies are trying to get you to sign your life away when you're 18, because you're not done cooking yet. Your brain isn't fully developed yet. And so you make bad decisions about money when you're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. Everybody does when
Not
they're that
me, I
age.
have big
Yes,
taxes.
we're gonna come to you when we wanna sign up for a credit card, Ms. Reed.
I'll be like, I warned you when you were 16. Don't ever get a credit card. Credit cards are the devil.
Yeah,
Don't ever
get
do that.
cash out.
Save your money. All right, so then there's another lobe there called the temporal lobe, and that's for hearing. There's the parietal lobe. Look at how that's spelled. P-A-R-I-E. Parietal lobe. Isn't that a weird looking word? Who are you talking to? Are you still talking to Princess? If you are on a call all through this class.
So if I just crack Trinity in her head, like right here, she won't be able to move.
What
She'll just be
about?
like,
All right, so let's use your frontal lobe and let's reason this through.
I'm not saying I'm gonna.
If-
This is hypothetical.
Hypothetically, if someone who looked like you
Yeah.
were to do that, what do you think would be the consequence of that action?
Office.
Knowing Trinity as you do, knowing anybody as you do.
Office.
Good.
Why are you saying I'm gonna accidentally like?
Well, I just think it would be foolish to put hands on anybody,
Oh,
right?
I would never.
Right. So this is just a thought exercise.
I don't know, I was just asking.
Okay. Parietal lobe is touch. So like that controls what you can touch and that you can sense that you're touching something. Occipital lobe, check out the spelling of that word, O-C-C, occipital. That controls your vision. Where is that located? You know what, Jason, you're grounded. It's in the very back, the very back. So this is where the vision center of your brain is. So if you get hit in the back of your head really hard, you might be interfering with your vision. Football players sometimes have that happen. You're just distracting me now. All right, so those are the 4 lobes there. They have other functions. That's just one function. That's enough for us to get into it today, for you all to get the point that they do different things, right?
Is there a part on your brain that like controls your ability to find things funny?
Yes.
Like on Captain Underpants movie?
Yeah. So emotion, like your emotion center is part of that, and your imagination and creativity is part of that too. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. How am I doing on time?
You still
I
have
need to
14 minutes.
need to do the BFA. Get you guys to it. All
Well,
right.
let's just- let's just
So
stop
then I'm gonna
here.
try this hot honey ranch.
I think it's so random how you brought that to school.
I'm just gonna read the next
Because I
little
was like,
chunk,
I wonder how to take on that.
and then we're gonna talk about these different things. What's that, honey?
On this page?
On this
Make
page.
it, would it
Okay, ready?
add a little pizzazz to it?
Pizzazz. Oh, I like the way you said that. Okay, spinal cord. The spinal cord is a thin tubular bundle of nervous tissue, not unlike an extension cord. It extends from the brain stem and continues down the center of the back to the pelvis. It's protected by the vertebrae, those oddly shaped, bony structures. Yeah, they're stacked up like that with some discs of cartilage between. And when you crack your back, you know, have you ever done that when you get up in the morning and you're moving around for the first time and you hear your back crack? Those are those vertebrae moving just a smidge here and there and tapping into each other a little bit. That's what you hear. And gas bubbles. So this is the information superhighway. It's like the HDMI cord for your body. See what I did there? I gave you an analogy.
Yeah.
So
Or like the
I hook myself up to a TV.
oh gosh, then we could watch your thoughts.
Oh, that's not.
But I forgot what I was saying. The white, red, and yellow cord.
Oh, the AV cable?
Yes.
Yeah,
Boy, that's a great analogy.
because the yellow one is the audio, or the yellow one is the, I forgot what it is. The being able to see it, and the white one's the left audio, and the red one's the right audio.
Ah, you're a genius. That's a really good
you own this
analogy.
video.
I came up with like 3 or 4 good ideas myself this morning, and then I asked ChatGPT.
Oh, not ChatGPT.
Well, there's a school version of one. So I asked for a couple more ideas, and I got a couple more ideas, but guess what? That's even better than any of the ideas that I got.
Really?
I love that idea. How could you extend it? Like, so if you were gonna do your brain or your central nervous system or the entire nervous system even as a video game system, how would that work?
Your frontal lobe would be the GPU.
What's GPU? Something
I don't
processing
even
unit? So like your brain is like when you buy an Xbox, don't you have to like buy the box, right? So is that your brain? And then the controllers control other things that you do, right? And there's all different controllers that you can use.
You're like ace jump, sticks to look around and move around.
Okay, so what would that be in your body?
The sticks would be like
What's the motor?
your motor function. Your motor function.
That's gonna, okay.
What?
All right, so like the peripheral nervous system, we could say that.
Yeah.
So like the Xbox, the box, the central unit is your brain, and then the cords that go to the controllers are your spinal cord.
Possibly.
And then what do the controllers do?
You move around.
So you press the buttons and it lets you move. So the part of your body that lets you move is the motor division. So we could say that. Can you start writing this down or like draw a picture while we're talking it through?
Oh, yeah, Josh, let's see.
Yes. Pictures are great. So I had this idea that it might be kind of fun to inflate our vocabulary just for giggles. Like instead of saying paper, we could say document. And instead of picture, we could say infographic. Instead of funny, we could say jocular.
Jugular?
Jocular.
Jocular?
Jocularity.
I don't know what that means. I know chicken jockey. Chicken jockey.
6, 7. Have you been to see it? You've been to see it. No? I haven't either. I'm afraid to go because of the chicken. Somebody said they're throwing chicken in the movie theater.
Now they're throwing popcorn. They're yelling, water bucket, release! And then just.
No, there was someone that had a whole chicken.
Yeah,
I
there
told
was
you
one
guys
that
it's
had
like
a
Rocky
chicken.
Horror Picture Show. They used to do that in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
You need to bring some lava chicken.
Okay, clock peeker, I saw that. Where's your drawing?
Stop.
So,
me.
I like that we're doing one big fat analogy all together. I like that, especially because we got some sleepy people on the periphery of the classroom.
What? I'm getting scared at him. I'm drawing. Look at this. Don't let it.
All right, so how do you want to draw it? So I'm gonna draw the big gray box that I've seen kids carrying around in their backpacks that is an Xbox, right? Xbox brain. And then I've got these cords that are going to the controllers. And I'm not sure what Xbox controllers look like, but don't they have like the 2 like lobes that come down? So it's kind of like,
All controllers have that.
do they?
So you can.
Besides the Nintendo 64 and
I
like
like
all
the
these
grips.
shit, but, like newer consoles,
The handles.
most have it.
I guess I'm showing my age because like I did not know that they all hit the same shape.
Hot Christmas V is an 1830.
Cause it's supposed to be like a handle, so that you can efficiently hold it.
All right, here we go. I'm making it a more organic, more eco-friendly. There, is that better? Does that look a little bit like a better shape? Kind of like that, right?
You play on a Wii U.
Am I? I love it that you can diagnose what I've done wrong here. All right, I'm putting buttons on it, and the buttons will allow you to move. So let's see, I'm gonna say that my cord is the spinal column, or the spinal cord. And then the controller itself is the motor division. How far can we get this analogy to go? Let's see. Oh, what's the screen? When you're looking at the monitor,
It's a box. Your vision.
your vision, I like that. So you've got cords that go to that too, right? Like it doesn't just happen, you have to hook it up.
Yeah.
With your cords that you were talking about. The red and the yellow and the white. All right, so let's do that. So we've got our red, yellow, and white. What do you call those cables?
I don't actually remember.
Those just like the
The
video
AV
game?
cables, I think.
AV cables, okay. All right, so those get hooked up to the TV so that we can see vision, and those are the neurons that take that information so that you can perceive what it is that you're looking at, right? So that like your vision is working physically and you can interpret what you're looking at. How's about, let's see. Ooh, is there such a thing as a save feature on a video game? Like, can you save your progress?
Yeah.
Or do you have to
Yeah.
start from the beginning
A
every
memory
time?
card.
So memory card. So your memory card can go in the Xbox.
Your storage.
And does that respond to emergencies? Like if your mom comes in and yells at you and shuts your game down, does it automatically save on that card? Okay, so that's kind of like, all right, so I'm gonna write memory card. And so then according to our little document on the front of our plaquette, our little diagram, that would be the sympathetic division. So that's to guard against emergencies like angry moms in the middle of the night. You have school in the morning, what are you doing? I'm gonna take this game out of here. I have all daughters, they don't play video games in the middle of the night, but I understand that boys do. All right, let's see. How about the parasympathetic division that controls non-emergency functions, but things that allow things to work? Oh,
GPU.
what is that?
It's the thing that runs everything.
The big gray box? What do you plug that into? Like, doesn't that thing need some power?
It's all, most of the, like, it's inside of the Xbox. Like with the
The power, the
motherboard.
Xbox is the power source, you don't have to
I
plug it
don't
into
know
the
if you
wall?
can or not. Those
And like
big-
get electricity for it?
Maybe he's supposed to.
It's gotta have electricity, right?
I mean, yeah, but the GPU is inside of the Xbox.
Okay,
It's one of
but
the
the,
components in it.
but the cord that goes between the, you're calling it the GPU, the big gray box, that goes between it and the wall provides power